Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Reading with the Ranger today. I am at Memorial County Park today, and our theme for today is Women's History Month. So to start out, I'm going to do a short women's history dedication to Natalie Hansen. Natalie Hansen was a teacher that taught at the Wurr School in Lomamar, right here in Lomamar. And the Wurr School was located off of present-day Wurr Road, which wraps around the backside of Memorial Park. And every year back in the 1920s, the county superintendent of schools would go out to each school to check in with the teachers and to make sure everything was going well and see if they needed anything. So in 1923, the superintendent of schools at that time, Roy Cloud, came out to the Wurr School where Natalie Hansen was teaching, and he spoke to her about everything that was going on. And she brought up a local tract, an area that had just been purchased by a lumber company, and she was concerned because it contained beautiful redwood trees and amazing forests that her students and her class like to go out to and learn about stuff. This looks like I'm freezing. Can anyone else hear me? Just want to check in. How are we doing? Any thumbs up? Anyway, I'll continue speaking. So the San Mateo County Board Superintendent of Education, Roy Cloud, came out and spoke with Natalie Hansen at the Wurr School, and she said that she was concerned about these trees. So she brought the superintendent over to this area and showed him the forest, and he said it was amazing, it was beautiful. So he was inspired by this teacher, Natalie Hansen, to go back to the Board of Supervisors and make a case to save this park. So without Natalie Hansen bringing this to the attention of someone at the county, this park, these amazing trees behind me here, would not have been saved. So I wanted to start off this Women's History Month Reading with the Ranger session, dedicating it to that woman who started our park system. Okay. It sounds like my screen keeps freezing. I'm going to try a different location, so bear with me. I'm going to walk over to another spot that I know has worked before. So in the meantime, you can see this beautiful forest behind me. How's everyone doing? Has anyone ever been to Memorial County Park who's watching? Memorial is reopening a little bit later this year, and in May we'll start having camping again. So if you are a fan of camping, you should come check out Memorial County Park. It's got gorgeous forests, beautiful campsites, and we've just redone a lot of the campsite facilities, like the restrooms, the sewer treatment plant, and the water treatment plant. So there's a lot of great improvements to the park, and we want to see you come out and visit again. All right, we're almost to our other location. Bear with me. Thanks for joining. Okay, here we are. Got some beautiful redwoods behind me here. Okay, so not only does Memorial County Park have some great history revolving around women initiating the saving of the park, San McDonald County Park, Edgewood, San Bruno Mountain, they all have stories that start with women taking up the cause to save these beautiful places. And if you follow us on Instagram or Facebook, You'll be seeing these stories highlighted throughout March to celebrate the month. So I hope that you get a chance to see those posts later on this month. All right, so our first book today is called Like a Girl. It's written by Lori Degman, illustrated by Mara Penny. Like a Girl. And this is published by Sterling Children's Books. Stand up like a girl by refusing to stand. Stand up like a girl by extending your hand. Stand up like a girl, raise your fist and resist. Stand up like a girl, keep on going, persist. Prevail like a girl using senses unknown. Prevail like a girl with a strength all your own. Prevail like a girl when the hill's hard to climb. Prevail like a girl, you'll succeed over time. Create like a girl, let your inner self shine. Create like a girl, using shape and design. Create like a girl, telling tales full of wonder. Create like a girl, writing poems strong as thunder. Soar like a girl with your eyes on the sky. Soar like a girl, let your free spirit fly. Soar like a girl past the moon and the stars. Soar like a girl and you may land on Mars. Train like a girl though your muscles all ache. Train like a girl till you feel you might break. Train like a girl to be faster and stronger. Train like a girl till you can't any longer. Change the world like a girl to empower the weak. Change the world like a girl, helping those who can't speak. Change the world like a girl from the land to the sea. Change the world like a girl so we can all be free. Ask how like a girl and discover the ways. Ask why like a girl and you might be amazed. Ask what like a girl and you'll learn something new. Ask who like a girl and the answer is you. And then at the end here of this book, it has little brief stories about everyone pictured in this book, all the different women. This is Like a Girl, written by Lori Degman, illustrated by Mara Penny. Okay, so we're here at Memorial County Park. For those who are just joining us now, thank you. And we're talking about Women's History Month today. So I'm going to have a couple more books that I'm reading that highlight women throughout history. who've made a difference in the world. And the next book is called She Persisted, 13 American Women Who Changed the World, written by Chelsea Clinton, illustrated by Alexandria Bourgier. And this is published by Philomel Books. Sometimes being a girl isn't easy. At some point, someone will probably tell you, no. Will tell you to be quiet and may even tell you your dreams are impossible. Don't listen to them. These 13 American women certainly did not take no for an answer. They persisted. Harriet Tubman was born a slave, and her story could have ended there. Instead, she persisted, escaping from slavery and becoming the most famous conductor on the Underground Railroad. She risked her life many times to lead countless slaves to freedom, including her family, friends, and strangers. Every person she led to freedom arrived safely. Quote, "I should fight for my liberty as long as my strength lasted." Once Helen Keller became blind and deaf as a toddler, few people thought she'd be able to learn to read and write or to speak, but she persisted. Helen learned how to do all three and not only became the first person with deaf blindness to graduate from college, but she used her story to help fight for more opportunities for people with disabilities in the United States and around the world. Quote, "One can never consent to creep when one feels an impulse to soar." After her family fled poverty and the threat of violence in Ukraine for a new home in New York City, Claire Lemlich got a job working at a garment factory. She wrote that the factory's conditions made women into machines, and so she persisted, organizing picket lines and strikes that ultimately helped win better pay, shorter hours, and safer working conditions for thousands of workers, both women and men. Quote, "I am one of those who suffers from the abuse described here, and I move that we go on a general strike." Nellie Bly became a reporter in part because a male writer had said that working women were a monstrosity, and she wanted to prove that women could do anything. At times putting her safety at risk, she persisted throughout her career in exposing real monstrosities, pretending to be a sweatshop worker and a patient in a mental hospital to show how badly people were being treated. Quote, "I have never written a word that did not come from my heart, and I never shall." Inspired from an early age by her brother's childhood illnesses, Virginia Apgar was determined to be a doctor long before many girls had such dreams. Even though she qualified to be a surgeon, the male head surgeon at her hospital discouraged her because she was a woman. Nevertheless, she persisted, becoming an anesthesiologist and creating the Apgar score to test a newborn baby's health, which hospitals all around the world still use today. Quote, "Nobody but nobody is going to stop breathing on me." After Maria Tall Chief's family moved to California, partly to support Maria's dreams of becoming a dancer, she was teased by students in school for her Native American heritage, and later was encouraged to change her last name to something that sounded Russian, since many professional dancers at the time were from Russia. She persisted, ignoring all the taunting and poor advice to become the first great American prima ballerina. Quote, "It never occurred to me to say, 'It hurts to do that.'" As a 15-year-old riding a bus home from school in Montgomery, Alabama, Claudette Colvin was expected to give up her seat to a white woman just because she was African American. In her refusal to get up, she persisted in taking a stand for what's right, helping to inspire Rosa Parks to make the same choice 9 months later, an act many point to as the start of the modern civil rights movement. Quote, "I knew then, and I know now, that when it comes to justice, there is no easy way to get it. You can't sugarcoat it. You have to take a stand and say, this is not right." When Ruby Bridges was in kindergarten, many schools across America, particularly in the South, still refused African American students their equal right to education. Ruby wouldn't be treated like a second-class student, and she persisted, walking for weeks past angry, hateful protesters to integrate an all-white elementary school in New Orleans. Quote, "That fateful walk to school began a journey, and we all must work together to continue moving forward." As the first woman to serve as both a U.S. representative and a U.S. senator, Margaret Chase Smith could have let that fact alone be her legacy. Instead, she persisted in championing women's rights and more opportunities for women in the military, standing up for free speech and supporting space exploration. The head of NASA once noted that we wouldn't have put a man on the moon without Margaret. Quote, "The right way is not always the popular and easy way. Standing for right when it is unpopular is a true test of moral character." Sally Ride always believed women could succeed in any math or science career. Although not everyone agreed, she persisted, and she became the first American woman in space. But that wasn't enough for Sally. She traveled into space once more and then created science and engineering programs specifically for girls so she could help generations of young women achieve their dreams too, both on Earth and in outer space. Quote, "Young girls need to see role models in whatever careers they may choose, just so they can picture themselves doing those jobs someday. You can't be what you can't see." When as a kid, Florence Griffith Joyner visited her father in the Mojave Desert, he would urge her to run faster, to run as fast as a jackrabbit. Even when she had to leave college to help support her family, she persisted in her training on the track, then went back to school and got faster and faster. Her unbroken world records in the 100-meter dash and 200-meter sprints set at the 1988 Summer Olympics means she is still the fastest woman ever. Quote, "When anyone tells me I can't do anything, I'm just not listening anymore." Oprah Winfrey's grandmother expected Oprah to follow in her footsteps and become a maid. Oprah knew, even as a little girl, that her dreams would take her somewhere else. She persisted in turning those dreams into her reality and became a media superstar, working in movies, books, magazines, theater, and most of all, television, where The Oprah Winfrey Show remains the highest-rated talk show of all time. Quote, "The biggest adventure you can ever take is to live the life of your dreams." Watching fictional judges on television inspired Sonia Sotomayor to want to be a real-life judge when she grew up. She knew she'd have to speak English as well as she spoke Spanish, study hard in school, and manage her diabetes before she could one day wear a judge's robe with a gavel in hand. She persisted, eventually becoming a Supreme Court justice and the first ever Latina to sit on the America's highest court. Quote, "I have never had to face anything that could overwhelm the native optimism and stubborn perseverance I was blessed with. So if anyone ever tells you no, if anyone ever says your voice isn't important or your dreams are too big, remember these women. They persisted, and so should you. And that was She Persisted, written by Chelsea Clinton and illustrated by Alexandria Boyer. Okay, so we're here at Memorial County Park. Like I mentioned at the beginning, and I'll say it again just because my video was kind of breaking up a little bit. This park here, all these beautiful trees, this amazing forest wouldn't be here today if it weren't for a woman. And this woman was the teacher at the local school here in Lomamar in the 1920s. And her name was Hanson, and she was the instrumental person to ignite the movement to save this park. She was the one who mentioned that this park was purchased by a lumber company and was going to get cut down soon to a county official, who then brought that to the Board of Supervisors, and the rest is history. This park stands here today for everyone to come visit, to experience these giant, tremendous trees, all because of that woman almost 100 years ago. So we owe her our thanks. All right, last book for today is called Shaking Things Up. 14 Young Women Who Changed the World by Susan Hood, illustrated by 13 Extraordinary Women. And this was published by HarperCollins Publishers. I can come down a little bit lower. That works better. All right, Taking the Heat. Years passed. Molly Williams, first known female firefighter in the United States. Years passed in New York City streets. A blizzard whipped the air. Despite the heavy falling snow, a fire scorched the square. The steeples clanged the town alarm, boy runners spread the news, but firemen were sick abed with influenza blues. A local servant knew the drill, she'd seen what must be done. She hauled the pumper track by hand, adept as anyone. In raging flames and choking smoke, brave Molly took the heat. With hose and axe she met the blaze to save the house and street. The fire laddies gave her praise, respect where it was due, dubbed her Volunteer 11, a member of the crew. She glowed with pride, a pioneer. She blazed a path, it's true. Yet women weren't hired here till 1982. This was back in the late 1700s. Molly Williams, first volunteer firefighter in the United States. Buried Treasure. Mary Anning, a paleontologist. And this book has really cool poems, if you can't see in here. A jaw, mouth, eye holes, a long skull. What could it be? Mary dug and drilled layers of limestone, uncovering snake stones and crocodile teeth. Fossils sold to save her family from starving. Patiently, persistently, she chipped and chiseled the skull, detecting a backbone. Blown bare in a storm, day after day, she carved, millions of years melting away, revealing ribs, a spine, etching Earth's past, and in the cliffs, she worked, unearthing fabulous flippers like a dolphin's, and a tail, an ichthyosaur. Penniless after her father's death, Mary Anning combed England's coast selling fossils to tourists, while her brother spotted a skull in 1811, it was 13-year-old Mary who unearthed the prehistoric sea reptile, an ichthyosaur. She later discovered the first two complete plesiosaurs and a pterosaur, laying the foundation for Charles Darwin's theory of evolution. So this woman laid the foundation for Charles Darwin's famous book, Mary Anning. Woman of the World, Nellie Bly. We heard about her in our last book. This ace reporter, Nellie Bly, delivered headline news by going undercover in jails, ballets, and zoos. A fearless writer of her day, she righted wrongs along the way. What's next, young Nellie wondered? A trip like Jules Verne's book, Around the World in 80 Days? No, faster. That's her hook. Her manager pooh-poohed her plan. A trip like this would need a man. So Nellie told him, start the man. She'd beat him if she could. The manager looked up and said, yes, I believe you would. Bly hopped a ship and told her tale of all she saw on earth. She wrote of camels, temples, jewels, and with gutsy wit and mirth. She rode on sampans, rickshaws, trains, through blizzards, heat, and monsoon rains. She talked with geishas, captains, priests. She even met Jules Verne. She brought a little monkey home upon her proud return. The worldwide press sang Nellie's praise. She'd beaten Verne in 8 whole days. 25 young Nellie aced a record-breaking pace. No soul on earth had ever sped the globe at such a pace. So she achieved worldwide fame for her race around the globe, clocking in 72 days, 6 hours, 11 minutes, and 14 seconds. She later went on to the front lines in World War I as one of the first women war correspondents. Turning the tide. Annette Kellerman, champion athlete and inventor of the modern swimsuit. There once was a mermaid queen, lovely and lithesome and lean, who swam afternoons without pantoons. Her swimsuit was deemed obscene. The lady was quickly arrested. Unafraid, she calmly protested. Who can swim 50 laps wearing corsets and caps? Her statement could not be contested. She streamlined the suit of the day and invented our water ballet. By changing the fashions, she fueled swimming passions as women made waves in the spray. Australian Annette Kellerman, who lived from 1886 to 1975, wore braces on her legs as a child. Her doctor suggested swimming to strengthen her leg muscles. So she went on to win world records and perform daredevil diving stunts and star in silent films, popularizing the new one-piece bathing suit and ushering in a new age of athleticism for women. The storyteller. Pura Belpré, children's author and first Latina librarian at the New York Public Library. A. Author. Amiga. Bilingual book buyer. Community champion for children. Defender of the downtrodden. Empowering educator. Folklorist, fairy tale teller. Grower of gifts. Harlem history maker, inner city innovator, joyful Johnny Appleseed, known for Perez y Martina, legendary Latina librarian, multicultural mosaic maker, New York narrator for niños, outgoing organizer, Puerto Rican puppeteer, querida, role model, Spanish story seed sower, trilingual translator, uplifter of the underprivileged, voice of the voiceless, weaver of wonder, expert in Espanol, young at heart, zealot. She lived between 1899 and 1982 and revolutionized New York City by enticing Spanish-speaking communities inside the previously English-only libraries. She bought Spanish books, conducted bilingual story hours, and celebrated Hispanic traditions. So that is Pura Belpré. Here's another one. Broken. Frida Kahlo, artist. Broken from polio at age 6 from a withered foot, childhood bullies shouting, Frida pata de palo, Frida peg leg. Broken again from a bus accident when she was 18, spine, collarbone, pelvis, ribs, leg, and foot smashed. Confined to a bed in a full-body cast, with an easel on her lap and a mirror above her bed, Frida painted self-portraits. I am the subject I know best, she said. She breathed in the colors, handicrafts, carvings, clothing of her homeland, Mexican, Aztec, Mayan. Art flowed from her fingertips, paintings of skulls, skeletons, stags, flowers, fantasy, fragility. Surrealism is the stuff of dreams and nightmares, but Frida said, I paint my own reality. Mexico, misfortune, monkeys, misery, marriage to Diego Rivera, politics, parrots, passion, pain. Frailty, thy name is woman, wrote Shakespeare, an idea echoing through the ages, yet Frida embodied strength despite her pain, achieving fame and world acclaim. Frida Kahlo. There's many more stories in here, but I just want to read one more. Books, not bullets. Malala Yousafzai, youngest winner of the Nobel Peace Prize. She had been shot. The bullet went in her left eye and out her left shoulder. Flown to safety in England, Malala couldn't forget the beatings, bodies, and bombs back in her Paradise Valley of Pakistan. Her beloved school closed for girls. Malala had spoken out. Just 11, she wrote a blog for the BBC. They are misusing the name of Islam, she said. Don't they know the first word of the Holy Quran is read? Her mother feared for her life. The Taliban don't kill children, they said. They were wrong. The gunman stopped her school bus and asked for her by name. He fired 3 bullets. One hit its mark. The news ricocheted around the world, but only her fear died that day. She said strength, power, and courage were born. I am those 66 million girls who are deprived of education. Pens, not weapons, she preached. Books, not bullets. The world heard and bestowed upon her its highest honor, the Nobel Peace Prize. Malala, a young girl who stood up, one voice who could not be silenced. She can change the world. So this is Malala, and she won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2014, born in 1997. And this book has a lot more stories. It's called Shaking Things Up, 14 Young Women Who Changed the World by Susan Hood. And lots of great poems and little biographies about different women over time. So that's it for today. I want to recommend that if you're interested in checking out these books, you can look at your local library. San Mateo County Libraries has a great system where you can reserve books online and pick them up in person with a no-touch service right now. So check that out. That's the link in the bio of this video. Here at Memorial Park, we're going to be reopening in May, so stay tuned for that announcement. And like I said, San Mateo County Parks owes many of our park facilities to the efforts of women starting the conservation work to save them. So I want you to look at our posts this month to learn more about these individual stories throughout the county of all the efforts that have been made over time to save these beautiful lands and conserve them for everyone to experience today. So signing off today, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next couple weeks. Have a great week.